There we go. And we're live. Okay. No, you don't have to adjust your sound.
I'll
This
stop
is,
adjusting my sound now.
yeah, stop adjusting your sound. This is a week, a week of laryngitis. And it's not getting better. I was just telling them in the green room, I was at an event last week. And literally from the time I got to the store till the end of the event is when I had lost my voice. So it like happened in like real time. It was very odd. I had no cold, no nothing. And it is just like, yeah, I feel fine, Arlene. Thank you. I mean, I feel great. I just sound so bad, which some people might like. It's like, I can't really, like, I can't yell, I can't talk. My
I
husband,
don't
it's
know who
like,
those people would be. I can't imagine them.
yeah. My husband's like, what'd you say? It's like, forget it. I'm not even talking anymore. I'm just like, I'll just stop. But yeah, it's so annoying. I can't even describe to you how annoying it is. After a whole week, it's like I would have thought by now it would have gotten better. I actually think it's getting worse. So it's just like, what is this thing?
Oh, God.
But anywho, we have I was just thinking because before we knew everybody was coming on, I was just starting to think about something that maybe Amanda and I, thanks Don. It was from the tuba event. I guess the two we had Sam Quinones at the
Yep.
store. He wrote a book called The Perfect Tuba. And he's the one he wrote the book about the fentanyl crisis. I mean, he's a wonderful journalist. So Beth, our wonderful Beth, organized with the La Jolla High School, La Jolla High, their music department. They had a student come and play the tuba, and then the interviewer is a freelance tuba player. He's played with the symphony, he's played with other things. So we had tuba players out in front of the store playing Christmas carols last Monday. It was so awesome.
That's
Right.
great. That must have been so
The
much
kind of
fun.
night you don't know what to expect, but then it turns out to be like the greatest night, right?
It was so well, I didn't really know. I mean, because we didn't really know if the student was going to come. We didn't know if the guy who was doing the interviewer would he play the tuba, what would happen. It was just one of those live moment events that was so cool. And Sam's like you wouldn't think that his investigative journalism would take him from fentanyl to tuba, but what he
Yeah.
showed was the connection of being a part of like a band and what that does to keep kids away from drug and what that whole thing is. It was fascinating. Great conversation. So I highly recommend The Perfect Tuba if you're looking for kind of a don't know what to say kind of book. Um, yeah, the holiday open house was also fun. And we had like James was taking pictures of dogs with the dog party was his dressed as Santa. I guess I'm not supposed to give it up that it was Santa taking pictures. Not James. All right, I should probably stop talking. Anyways, what I was thinking of doing was, and maybe we'll do this for like, right before Christmas, if we do our top 10 or, I like, Tom, I know you love top 10 lists.
I'm going
So
to talk about them today. Yes.
okay.
Can't get
So we
enough.
might we might have
Cannot
to
get
like
enough.
do what our personal like top five of
Yeah.
the year or something like that is. We'll come up with that a theme maybe in the next couple weeks. So with that, I think that the share is on. I'm probably not going to do much commenting, so it's going to go Julia, Gabe, Tom, and Andrea. So Julia, take it away.
All right. Well, my first book came out last week. Um, but I didn't talk about it because honestly, it was on a different catalog than the one we're using, and I forgot that it came out last week. It got moved up because it is a Reese Witherspoon's book club pick for this month. It's called The Heir Apparent by Rebecca Armitage. And this is so it's a really fun book. It's got some romance, it's got some royalty, it's got some choices to be made. But it was edited by Regan Arthur, who was she was at Little Brown for a long time and then was the editor in chief at Knopf for a while and now is back at Hachette with a new imprint called Cardinal, and this is one of her first. There's been a couple of Cardinal books. The Book of Guilt was one of the other ones, but this is one of the first. And it is one of my colleagues said that they thought it was for people who love royalty and those of us who think we don't. So it is like a very and it was inspired by Harry and Meghan's wedding somewhat. And it follows this woman who basically has to make a choice whether she wants to be in line to inherit the throne, or if she wants to go back to New Zealand, where she's from, and live a completely different life, and sort of, what kind of choices and sacrifices are made to follow love and to follow, to think about sort of, I think she was looking at Meghan Markle and thought, this woman is giving up things too in order to become part of this family. And so it's a really interesting book. It really it has some like light fluffiness, but it delves into some deeper topics as well. And it's a really good one. So yeah, this is The Heir Apparent by Rebecca.
Okay, so I have to just quickly say that when you said that Reagan Arthur edited this and the Book of Guilt, I would not have put those two books together.
I know. I mean,
that's a really
got some more big ones coming up from her that I'll talk about next season. But yeah, it's I always think of it as her taste level. Like, she does have great taste in fiction,
right?
And sort of what I like about the books that she edits, and now I've read quite a few of them, is that like there's some like bigger appeal, sort of more commercial appeal, while the books themselves are very sort of literary, and they're not like fluff,
right? Yeah. No, but I mean, I just looking at the cover of The Heir Apparent, I would have put it in that category, but now knowing who edited it and what else she's edited has a little bit more appeal to me.
Right. Yeah, totally.
Super interesting. Okay. All right. Gabe, you're next.
I am it. So this is mainly why I came on today. I looking at the Edelweiss what's releasing tomorrow list, and one of my favorite people in the world, Phaedra Patrick, popped up with a new book coming out tomorrow, The Time Hop Coffee Shop. So this is, I don't know, we've sold a few Phaedra Patrick books in the store. Her last book we sold pretty well. It's a paperback original. She writes these very heartwarming, usually not my kind of thing, but I got a chance to spend some time with Phaedra on the road, and she's just somebody who's a genuinely great person. She's got a great backstory. She wrote like 5 books before she got published. She was never bitter. She was never angry. She was just somebody who one day decided she wanted to write a book. And after like 5, 6 books in the drawer, she wrote a big international bestseller that got bought everywhere, and has had quite a nice career. Books could be a little uneven sometimes, but you're always going to feel good after a Phaedra Patrick novel. It's not for everybody, but if you need to decompress. So what we've got here is a little bit of the Japanese coffee shop magical realism or magic that we have in Before the Coffee Gets Cold. The scenario that Phaedra paints here is a woman who's in life, living her life. It's in crisis. She's breaking up with her husband, so they're on a trial separation with her husband. She's having issues with her grown-up adult daughter, and she is no longer the famous spokesperson for this coffee brand that she was for many years. She was the face of this coffee, doing these very wholesome, mommy, perfect mom kind of commercials. So when she's in this flump, one day she gets this flyer, and it's an advertisement for this coffee shop, and she goes in and she has some of the magic brew, and it transports her to where else but the little town where the commercials were being filmed, Mapleville, this idyllic fantasy world where she finds a perfect version of her husband and her daughter. Both exist in this world. So starts going back again and again. And ultimately, the lesson here is life is good. What you have, appreciate what you have. But she does it in a really fun way. So somebody, I think, pretty commercial, somebody that is gonna always provide you like a warm ending. You're not gonna, if you face a disaster, it's gonna be fine at the end of the book. She's a feel-good writer, and like every time I read, I have to read the Phaedra Patrick books. They remind me of so much of who she is, which is just a terrific person who is writing these little books that affect some people in some kind of way. She's had a
Oh,
Hallmark movie made out of Benedict Stone,
okay.
so she's had some props here and there. And then like the first book that Charms of I forget his name was a big bestseller, sold in like 35 territories. So she's really
Gabe,
sweet.
she's adorable. I love her. Gabe, I think you introduced me her debut novel 100 years ago. We did a dinner up in LA
Dinner.
for her.
It's a
So
Providence dinner. Yeah.
yeah, it's good stuff. It was good stuff.
Good dinner then.
It was a really
Good
good dinner,
dinner.
but she's lovely.
She's
So
lovely.
if you haven't read her before, I highly recommend supporting her. This one sounds like a great one. So, all right, Tom.
Okay. So Olga Tokarczuk just published a book, which is late in the season, but it's exciting to have something brand new out that's important. So Olga won the Nobel Prize for Literature maybe 5 years ago, something like that. And that was it was right. It wasn't for Flights because you don't win that for a book, but it was right around the time when Riverhead published Flights in the U.S. And so this is actually a book from the late 90s that had either never been translated into English before or maybe was published, a long time ago in an English translation, but now this is a brand new English translation now that she's Nobel laureate. And it's a return to kind of the form of Flights. It's that kind of novel. Because after Flights, like we've done, she's played with genre a lot. There was Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of Your Dead, which was her version of a mystery. There was The Impusium, which we published last year, which was horror. So, but this is a return to Flights. Now, Flights and House of Day, House of Night she calls them constellation novels. So they're kind of big picture of, in this case, a town in Poland, and you get to know the town, the place, and the people in that town. You learn the stories of each one told in all different kinds of ways, and they echo off each other, the stories. So it's not a novel in the, straightforward sense, but you just go with it, and really really original, I would say super original. Like there's no one like Olga in this format. So it's Poland just after World War II, this small town in southern Poland, and with the ghosts of German soldiers still hanging around. There's a character as it says here, whose death with one leg on the Polish side and one leg on the Czech side, what causes an international incident. So there's dark humor, there's philosophy, there's legend. Really fascinating writer. And of course, I forgot her big book, which was big in size, was the Books of Jacob, which was huge. So she's capable of any and all kinds of books, but exciting to have a book from her early writing in print in English and a brand new translation, House of Day, House of Night.
Who's the translator on that?
Good question. It is Antonia Lloyd-Jones. Who's
Okay,
a
thank
really
you.
prominent translator, and Riverhead always gets the very best in translation.
Yeah, when you were gone one week, Tom, I was looking for books and I saw that had come out. It was like, oh, that is a big deal that she
Yeah,
has a book out.
I know. I mean, but by November, like we came out last Tuesday, and really we published most of our big books, but it's nice to have this one for a last minute holiday, for just the
Yeah,
right person.
just the right, literary person.
Yeah.
Gabe, I'm assuming that you were the one that maybe recommended The Land in Winter, or that might have been
Yes,
you, Andrea,
that was
too.
me.
Okay.
Or maybe
Um,
you too.
but it looks like Kim read it and loved it, comparing
I
it
thought
to
it was so good. It's so
Claire
good.
Keegan-ish. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. I talked about it at some point too, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I
Sure.
think both of you might have. Yep. All right, Andrea, speaking of, your turn.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Tom.
So I want to do some gift titles for obvious reasons as we move into, mid-December, if you can believe that. And the first book I wanted to talk about is Women Artists in Their Own Words. This comes from Merrill Publishing, and they're out of the UK, and really beautiful art books. Art and architecture um, is their thing, and it's basically um, Hugh Merrill runs this press. He does have some help, but he is the brains behind it, and he's a great guy, and his books are always gorgeous. So this one is what it says there, women artists in their own words. It's quotations from leading artists paired with their iconic work, offering, insights into their creative processes, the challenges they've faced. And this is a survey of about 101 artists for over the past 50, or I'm sorry, the past 150 years. So okay, I've got to move something so I could do this. Marina Abramovich, Carla Accardi, Louise Bourgeois, Leonora Carrington, just a whole host of people that you know, and then a lot of people that you don't know. Lee Krasner here, Leonora Finney is here, Dorothea Tanning, um, Alice Neal. It's just the list goes on, and the reproductions are gorgeous. And I just think this is an excellent art book gift for. It's a great gift for anybody who's interested in art for sure, and especially people who dig women artists and want to see just a gorgeous book in this beautiful survey. So great little collection there.
Love it. You could do a combination. You could buy them this as nonfiction and then Mona's Eyes as the fiction companion.
Exactly.
What a great
Exactly.
little gift.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, and Andrea, is it true? Are we in birthday week this week?
Yes, yes.
All right,
I
everybody's wishing you happy birthday in the chat.
Oh, that's so sweet. I thank you. I don't have the chat up, so I didn't see that. But that's really, yeah. Yeah, it's the big 6-0, everyone. So
Happy
I was
birthday.
Andrew and I were able to toast in person last week, which
Yep.
was fantastic.
Love it.
yeah.
I wish I could sing to you.
Please don't, Julie. Please don't.
Hey, on a good day, you don't want me singing.
Thanks, everyone. It's very sweet.
It's super sweet. All right, Julia, you are up.
Okie doke. My next one is this one's kind of fun. It's for all those Fast and the Furious fanatics out there, and I know there are some. Actually, there are lots. This is Welcome to the Family, the explosive story behind the Fast and the Furious blockbusters that changed the world. So there have been, I think, 9 Fast and the Furious movies. It might be more now because there's like these ancillary ones like Hobbs, oh God, what's it called? Something in Hobbs, sorry. I'm terrible at actual titles of anything.
Yeah, those are the ones with The Rock, I think.
Yeah, so there's the 11th installment of the Fast and the Furious is coming out next year. Hobbs and Reyes is one of the films. But it's so funny because the first movie came out when I was a senior in high school, and I thought nothing of it. It seemed, sorry, everyone. But it seemed like, kind of like this a little bit dumb but fun movie. And then all of a sudden it just exploded. It's what I've been so fascinated by is that it has a huge queer following because it's all about chosen family. And so there's like these people that are just like, this movie is all about family, and it's about chosen family, and it's about like the family we, find for ourselves. And so this is just this kind of beautiful exploration of the behind the scenes of how these movies ended up being the huge hits that they were, how they sort of settled into what they are now, which is these like chosen family movies. There's of course stories, there's tragedies, of course, with like Paul Walker, the death of Paul Walker, but it's just a really interesting backstory. And I think like for people, I think it's a great gift. I feel like everyone has someone in their life. I'm thinking of mine right now that is just absolutely insane about these movies, sees everyone like opening day. And so I think this is a really good sort of look, particularly with the original franchise sort of ending next year. So
Yeah. And I think that that looks like a great for the right. I mean, that's a great gift.
yeah, exactly.
That is a great gift. And it's so funny because sometimes you don't think about those, you know what I mean? And it's like, oh yeah, that's who I
It's
need
so
to.
funny because I feel like there was like a joke when they came out with Too Fast, Too Furious, which is the second one, where everyone was like, "What are we doing? We're making another one of these," and now it's like 11, and there are like ancillary, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, like this is a whole world."
It's a
But
whole thing.
yeah, Amanda, it is puzzled affection. I love her dearly, but I don't always understand why she loves these movies so much, but she really, really does. So, um, you know, I think there's a perfect person for this book.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, Gabe, you're next.
All right, so I'm going to. I've been, I guess, in stocking stuffer mode, not big gift mode. Um, and the other book I want to talk about is, where are you? Sorry, is a reprint by Michael Tournier, a book that I loved when I read a bazillion years ago. I was young when I read this book. Um, the Random House rep sent me a copy of this and Julio Cortázar's Hopscotch. Um, and they like opened, I was like new in the book world at the time. I was 23, 24. I was pretty much a blank slate. And these two books, those two authors just blew my mind. I continue to read them, read them as much as I could. But this is a book that is easy pickup. It is the New York Review of Books, which is a publisher imprint that has been doing these really wonderful reissues of modern, not I wouldn't say classics, but well, maybe modern classics, books that are really exceptional, books that had an impact during the era that they were published, and books that have a lasting impact that are worthy of, continue to be read. And I think Michael Tournier is one of those books. I think it fell off the vintage backlist years ago, and it should remain in print. It's a book that is looking at worlds colliding. Michael Tournier is retelling the uh, um, uh, Robinson Crusoe story, um, and it is all about Robinson Crusoe, the white colonizer of this little. He literally creates his own government, and what Defoe's character did, he sort of created the sovereign state of his for a government of one. And then in comes this native Friday who has got a completely different worldview, and or view, and who he rescues, and they form a relationship. And at first, it's a very unbalanced relationship, very Western over the that mentality that existed, that has existed and continues to exist. That anybody who's not white is a savage, is a beast. It's outsiders. You don't know much. You're not educated. All those. Um, this was published in 1967 originally, so at the height of the civil rights era in America. But the French were paying attention, like they paid attention during our revolution, right? So this is a lot of what's going on in this book, and it is about cultures colliding and which culture is actually the better culture, this allegedly advanced culture or this culture that is suited to this land that they're existing in. But it's really well told. It's a book that you got to think about, that you got to look at. It's a serious book. It is a book that it's not a complicated read necessarily, but you do have to pay attention, and it is a little bit complex. And it's a there's a lot of existentialism in here. There's just quite a lot to look into this book. So it's a little, not terribly fat. It's loaded, a lot to talk about, a lot to, if you're a college student and you want something meaty to write about, this would be a great little book that reading time would not be a huge investment, but that you could just tear up and rip through.
I don't know why, but I'm getting stoner vibes from it. Does it have a little bit of stoner vibe?
It's like those kind of books that this press is publishing.
It just has this like slow, methodical.
Right. They're fantastic. I mean, they are finding these books. This is one that I don't know. So thanks, Gabe. That's amazing.
Yeah, love it. Okay, Tom.
Okay, this book I know. This book you all know. This is a return to this. So this is my next section of books, year-end best lists, which I do love. So there are two books vying for like showing up on the most number of lists. One of them is Arundhati Roy's Mother Mary Come to Me. Is that right? Yeah, not my book, but it's beating out this book, but just barely. They're neck and neck. And this book, of course, is Sophie Elmhurst, Marriage at Sea, which is the little book that could, little in every size, but big in every other way. And I love that we can now, like it's the original book had the Patrick Radden Keefe quote up at the top when we first printing. Now we moved him to the bottom and we put New York Times bestseller up here because it is indeed a New York Times bestseller. And then the New York Times, so it's been showing up on list after list. If it's not on a list, I get really annoyed. Like today, Fresh Air had its list. Maureen Corrigan, bless you. Marriage at Sea was on there, on her top 10. But most importantly is the New York Times top 10, which came out a week ago. And there it was. So this is, of course, the story of Morris and Marilyn who set sea. They sell all their possessions. They set sea in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. The whale hits the boat. They're on a raft for over 100 days. That's the bare bones. But what makes the book so magical, so impressive is the detail, is the emotion that Sophie Elmhurst brings it out of these two characters. And you will be asking yourself for a long time, which am I? Am I a Morris or am I a Marilyn? Most of us are not Marilyn's probably because she is a special person and she saved his life without a doubt. But it's a Marriage at Sea. Subtitle is a true story of love, obsession, and shipwreck. So if you like shipwreck stories, of course you will love this. Obsession, we published lots of books. When I think of obsession, I think of The Feather Thief. It's that kind of book, but also love and marriage comes first because this is a beautiful portrait of a marriage. And you can't help but put yourself on that raft with this couple. How they survived this is really incredible, and maybe because they're just too British. They are British to their core. Maybe that's the reason. I don't really know. But in the New York Times announcement, their description says what really elevates this beautifully constructed narrative is the sensitive characterization of two very different people, a misanthrope and an optimist. It's a story that remarkable will leave everyone asking essential questions about loneliness, about character, and about partnership. So buy it for yourself, buy it for a friend. This is for you. It's for all of us. Marriage at Sea.
It still ends up on our bestseller list, like
yeah,
continuously.
And so speaking of editors, like this isn't the editor of this book is Jin Dilling, who is the genius behind Riverhead's publicity and marketing.
I didn't know Jen edited this.
Yeah, Jen edited. She doesn't edit very much, but I'll tell you the book she's edited. She's edited Wintering, which is a perennial bestseller. Catherine May. She edits all Pico Iyer's books now, and Marriage at Sea. So she waits for the right book. Has to have certain elements that come together. And this was a book that we were all like, this is going to work, isn't it? And it's been great to watch it just be a word of mouth bestseller, best of all.
We had a bookseller night the other night, Don. I'm glad you brought that up. You brought it up in the chat. And one of our booksellers actually got choked up talking about it
yeah,
because it's
it's
like it is an emotional book.
it really is, and it's just like, and this is a writer who came out of nowhere. Her first book. She's a New Yorker writer, but
Yeah.
it's her very first book, and we'll be hearing lots more. But yeah, it is, and you'll be in tears throughout.
Yeah. Anyways, love it. Thanks, Tom. Okay, Andrea. Oh, and you just gave us like you're not back here for the rest of the year. Come on, sister.
Yeah. I mean, I might be able to try on.
We're not pressuring you. I'm just giving you grief.
Yeah, I'll try on the 15th, but I may be on the road.
Yeah, I hear you.
But yeah, it's been a good run, everyone. It's been
a good 2025.
It has been. It really has been great to hang out with you all every Monday. I wanted to get this back in front of folks. I presented this back in early September when it first published. But because it is the gift giving season, and this is a perfect gift for the kids in your life. This is the Britannica All New Kids Encyclopedia. This is fully updated. And this is this is the updated edition of Britannica's landmark new encyclopedia. It's not like, your dad's old encyclopedia. One thing that's very interesting and that I love about this book is that it's not organized from A to Z. It's organized from early history, the beginning of like history, to the present day, and even discusses the future a bit, which is great. And I think kids will really like that. It's filled with up to the minute facts, figures, great images, and it covers everything from supernovas to Taylor Swift, ancient Egypt to artificial intelligence. So that's a big deal, obviously, and kids are going to want to know about that. Let me just pull up some of these images to show you here. Looks great, right? It's really bold. Illustrations and photographs. And it's got everything. It's visually driven, as you can see. It's got factoids, lists, infographics, but even quizzes. So like you're in the middle of one of these pages and there'll be a quiz about what you've just been reading. Anyway, this is a great book, and it's for kids 8 to 12, and you can see how chunky it is here from this picture. It's for kids 8 to 12, but I'll tell you what, as you're wrapping this gift for the child in your life, you are going to like be waylaid as you flip through it and will become totally engrossed. So it's really a beautiful and amazing volume, and I think every kid should have this in their library. That's how I feel about it.
I agree. I think it's a great book. I love those. My grandkids are a little too young.
Yeah.
But
one of these days, though,
one
you'll
of
be
these
getting
days.
these.
Yeah. Oh, we'll be. So my daughter will be the one that'll be like reading it the whole time.
Yeah.
All right. Lightning round. Julia, what you got?
Okay, my last one, I too was going back through fall to figure out some good gifty titles that I may not have talked about in previous weeks. So I found one of my favorite music books of the season. This is called Night People by Mark Ronson, and the subtitle, How to Be a DJ in 90s New York City. I mean, it is kind of what the book's about. Mark Ronson, is a very famous music producer. Probably his most famous song is Bruno Mars' Uptown Funk. But he's produced Lady Gaga, he's produced Lizzo, he's produced just across the board amazing musicians. And I, as a lover of music, was like, oh, I got to read this. I try to always read our music books. And I read this, and this book is a love letter to music. It is less, it's about being a DJ, but it's about being a DJ in the way that, like, first of all, old school DJ. So he spends these huge swaths of the book sort of talking about great music and music he loves, and talking about as being a young person and digging through records, and you were trying to find the beat that was gonna land exactly right when you switched from one record to the next. And like he really gets into like what it is to be like an old school DJ who had to use two turntables and had to know exactly where to put that needle down. And I just had such a like warmth from this book. And I mean, I knew Mark Ronson like as a producer kind of, but I like I wouldn't say that I was like a huge fan of his, music, but I just like fell into this and just loved every second of it. It's like there is a bit of a love letter to New York in the 90s, and sort of, digging through these old Bleecker Bobs and these old like record stores all over Manhattan, but also and just like the startups of like you know these like big scenes in Brooklyn and on the in the south side of Manhattan. And just it's just a great book. It's just really fun. If you're a music lover or you have a music lover in your life, he spends a lot of time talking about 70s funk because that was what was the backdrop of a lot of great sort of DJ music, is the beats from 70s funk albums. And so like even if you're like, oh, the 90s not really my era, like give this one a shot. It's just a great love letter to music. And I really enjoyed every single moment of it. It was one of those books that I should have put down because I had other things to read, and I was like, no, I don't want to. So
Sometimes we have to do the pleasure read.
yeah,
We
yeah. It
gotta do
became a
the
real
stuff that
pleasure
like
read.
keeps us wanting to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't know about you, but those books are few and far between sometimes.
Well, and sometimes it's like I just need to know what the book feels like.
Right.
Um, but this one, like, I don't know, something really grabbed me about it. And just this, like, you can feel it's palpable how much he loves music, and how much he like loves finding music and putting together music to make different music. And just it's really a wonderful book.
I
We
love
saw
it.
the disco documentary on some. It was like 3 or 4 part disco documentary on something. So I got a whole, which I was kind of around. I was around, but it was different in LA than it was in New York in the early days where you had like DJ spinning, and we used to go like to Dylan's where it was all very plug in and plug out. But so we never got that, like, 3 o'clock in the morning, New York City DJ, the hot DJ. So it was a trip. So this sounds fascinating. And he seems like a real interesting dude from what I've seen of a couple of his interviews. He seems like he's pretty cool and he's pretty smart and got some
Yeah,
going on.
yeah, totally. And he grew up, his stepdad was I think was in maybe the band. It was in a big band. So he kind of and he talks about like he had access to some of these tools and like he could pick people's brains and stuff like that. And you know, there were certain famous musicians. There's a few names dropped throughout,
It's just
but it was like in a way that I did not find grating
Right.
or annoying. I was just like, yeah, this guy, I mean, he just loves music. And so it's
Because
really hard
because
to not enjoy that.
to be honest, it's like he always was one of those guys originally that I was like, he kind of grated me a little bit, but knowing that he just like had this total love for it totally
Yeah,
changes that.
yeah, yeah, totally.
pop
And I
music.
love his Bruno Mars movie. See, that was Chef's Kiss. Okay, Gabe.
Uptown
Play
Funk
it.
is a banger. Uptown
It's
Funk is
such a
it's a
banger.
banger.
Good
Yeah.
It's
jam. Still
so
hits.
good. So good.
So I am going to talk about The Art of Climbing by Simon Carter. It's a book we've had in the store for a little bit, but it is a spectacular, and we should maybe move this up to the gift wall. It's a spectacular climbing book. It is all about beauty. It's all about aesthetics. It's all about spirituality. It's all about lessons. It's all about communing with nature. It is what climbing is all about. The climbing has gotten really commercialized. Now they're doing like these races and competitions, and there's money involved. But there's nothing like, just getting your hardware on, packing into deep mountain location and spending, 5, 6, 7 hours on a rock climbing, overlooking lakes, overlooking valleys, the wind just blowing through your ears. There's a real beauty to climbing. And I think this book, there are books that are made for the amateur outdoorsman, the amateur adventurer, the armchair adventurer. And this is so much that book. I think it is the ethos of climbing, but it's also quite a spectacular visual book. There's a lot of text. I just want to share something else with you guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say the pictures look amazing.
Yeah, there's a lot of text, and but there's images like this. So we're in
That's
China,
crazy.
you're in Madagascar, you're in Turkestan, you're like everywhere around the world in these shots. So this is what climbers experience. That's kind of good. Yeah, that's mean. So images like this and a really strong text. Simon Carter is a climber. He's Australian. He's a photographer. He's done all this kind of stuff. So I think if you're looking for a gift for anyone who's into the outdoors, again, it's great for the somebody who just wants to look at pretty stuff, but somebody who's a real climber, and I think it goes to like from non-climbers to actual hardcore climber would appreciate this book. So I think we have a broad spectrum. Anybody who loves the outdoors. There was what's his name, Chin, who did a book. I have it downstairs. A couple 3 years ago, maybe 2022. Same kind of thing. He's a big adventurer and photographer. And that book did quite nicely for the holidays because it was the book for that audience. So I think this is that book.
Even people who aren't climbers, those images are
Yeah.
incredible.
It's really amazing.
Crazy. Love it. Thank you, Gabe. Okay, Tom.
Okay, so Riverhead had a really good week last week because they had two of the top 10 books on the New York Times list. The second one was Charlotte Wood's Stoneyard Devotional, which I know, Julie, you came too late just as we all did. I mean, it's had a fascinating publishing history because it was published, I think, in 2023 in Australia, where she's a famous writer in Australia. And 2023, she won all the awards in Australia. 2024, it was published in the UK, and then it was shortlisted for the last year's Booker. And then we came along in the States and published it in February of this year, so 2025. And now it's having a resurgence for the holidays, thanks to these lists and the New York Times. And it's a book that deserves every accolade and deserves this long life to be discovered and rediscovered over and over again. And as I always say, I am always in for a book about nuns. This is that. Although the main character, this woman who is escaping her life to go to a convent, but she is an avowed atheist. She has no interest in the faith part of the nuns and does not expect to live there, but live there she does. And it's just beautiful attention to detail, what it means to be especially in Australia, like the climate change is even more real in Australia, and climate change plays a role in this book. When there's a mice invasion, like it's a quiet book. It's not about plot, except when they're trying to keep the mice literally out of everything and at bay, which really happened in Australia during the pandemic. So it's a book about it's very meditative, beautiful, about this particular woman's way trying to figure out her life at midlife. If you like Sigrid Nunez, you like Elizabeth Strout, you like Marilyn Robinson, this book is for you. It's just fantastic, and I'm really excited that it's back in the news, back in the conversation. Stoneyard Devotional by Charlotte Wood.
I guess I didn't see the list, the New York Times list. When did it come out?
Julie, what are you thinking?
I don't know.
I wake up early that day.
I have been making these blankets.
Oh,
Okay?
there we go.
That's what I've been doing. I
So,
love Stoneyard Devotional. Love it, love it, love it. I listened to it.
it's a good
On audio.
audio.
It's a
Oh, I bet.
really good audio. It's a really good audio. So get it on Libro.fm.
Absolutely. And then, yeah, check it out. It's great.
Oh, so good. So good. Love it. In fact, that when we're talking about top five, I think that's going to be one of my
Yeah.
definitely in my top five this year. Okay, Andrea, wrap us up. Birthday girl.
Great. Thank you. I want to talk about rethinking American art, collectors, critics, and the changing canon. This is from Theodore E. Stebbins Jr., and he is the art curator of art emeritus at Harvard. So big deal. He's written a lot on the subject. This is a broad survey of American art history from the early days to the present. It may be controversial to some because he embraces he may be retired, but he is a forward thinker and embraces some I guess current changes that haven't been in the art field, that haven't been fully adopted by a lot of other critics and historians. And that has always been his way, really. So cultural upheavals, do shake down all the way to the art world. And so he really talks about a survey of 200 years of American art, but puts recent changes and in the thinking about that and the philosophy of art history into new context. So people who are interested in art and art criticism are going to come to this book. Let me see here. I'm looking to, there's a good John Walsh, director emeritus of the Getty Museum here in Southern California, says Stebbins is our guide to the shifting canon of painters that he actively helped redefine. Stebbins' shrewd purchases for museums, his original exhibitions, his teaching, and his persuasive writing have changed the field of American studies. He's known practically everybody in that field. His sharp portraits of collectors and dealers, competitors, and colleagues make for entertaining reading. So this is great. It's got, it's spicy. It talks about his competitors, people who don't necessarily agree with him, etc. Over the years. It's got about 80 illustrations. And it's a thick book. I think it's 432 pages. But it's nice to have 80 images in there too, so that's great. Let me see. Yeah, 432 pages. So I think this is a really great serious book about art that a lot of people are going to want to have on their shelves in their library. And that's from the great David R. Godine, literary publisher out of Boston.
We love David. I love that book, and I love the cover. It's a good one. Okay. Somebody saying their favorite video ever was Mark Ronson and Ryan Gosling. Excellent Christmas version of I'm Just Ken. That's one we're going to have to look at. All right. I need to stop talking.
Yeah.
Thank you, reps, for being here. We have a rep night tomorrow night. If you're in San Diego, Andrea, we're going to miss you, but have a great birthday.
I know. Thank you. I'm going to miss you guys too. It was good to be in Southern California last week. Just north of you guys in the LA Basin to see everybody. So
we will plan better next year, so you're included in that. But hope we see all the San Diego Tea Time people come in and come in and talk. Some new books to buy for people or yourself. So my list kept growing tonight. And what I was wanting to read. So you guys are selling to the me too. I love it. All right, Gabe, thanks. Bye everybody. We'll see you next week. Hopefully with a voice.
Bye all.